Hey guys, so today you and I are going to talk about me. So let's get into it. So the question in question was, Frederick, I've been watching your videos where you sit in a bathtub. Nice. What is your motivation for making these videos? I'm just curious about uh, what your intentions are. Well, my intentions are pretty damn simple. I think it's fun to make my videos, because if I don't, I will probably explode from the lack of nerding out about something that I really, really, really care about. That's the part that is about me. The other part is that my hope is that by trying to answer a question a day from either subscribers or people that post questions on the internet or LinkedIn or whatever, wherever I can get a hold of someone who is wondering about something, and I feel like I haven't answered this already, hopefully by giving my perspective on it, it's going to help somebody to understand how it is to work as a software developer, what tool they should pick, or if there's any of these, like, I'm not going to say harder questions, but these sorts of questions where it's really hard for someone who doesn't know how it is to work for several years. Like, you don't really have a way to find an answer to it. It's really tricky. Like, the reason why or at least why I believe it's tricky, is because when I started out myself, uh, the thing that I could find in droves was introduction videos to absolutely everything. There is no shortage of crash courses and hello world demos and like introduction to blah 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 blah, like everything. There is everything you could possibly want in that region. So if you want to work, if you want to learn the syntax to literally any programming language, no matter how obscure, someone's made a blog post about it, or someone has made a video on YouTube about it. The one thing that they're not helping you understand is, what does it actually take to be a professional? Because there's, at least when I was trying to figure this out, I learned all the things that these videos had to teach me within like, let's go high and say, let's say that I learned it in a year or two. At least the basics, the things that I felt I needed in order to produce like basic applications. The thing I really didn't understand though was, okay, so what's the difference between me at my level right now and someone who's been doing this forever, or who is actually working in the way that I want to work? Like, what do I need to know in order to get there? And then I got my first job and I started working, and I started to realize that, wow, yeah, I kind of know how to do a lot of this stuff, but everything got so complicated all of a sudden. There's so many questions, and I'm so uncertain about things. Like, just a simple thing such as, what are the expectations on me when I work as a software developer? Because I don't really know. In the beginning, you think that there is, to a point, there is a lot of pressure on you, but you make it 10 times worse because you don't really know what's reasonable. You don't have a frame of reference. Today, I mean, if I could go back to the person I was when I first started and just explain to them at my first job, because it was absolutely horrible, that dude, like, just relax. You are not the problem here. Sure, you're green, you don't really know exactly what you're doing, but they should not be putting you in a situation where you have nobody to ask for help. You don't even have a clear stakeholder or product owner who knows what they want. They're putting you in a really, really bad position right now. You should know that. And the second you move from this company, if we're going to the future, you're going to be much better off. I didn't know that at the time. And so when I make my videos, I try to address these sorts of questions where I know that if you Google for this, you will most likely not find an answer, or at least not a comprehensible answer, something that you can feels tangible. And in many cases, you might not even know that this is something that you don't know. And that's why I, in many cases, as you probably have seen me say before, what the biggest favor you can make yourself and the biggest benefit that you can give your own career is to get a role working with more experienced developers, because the fundamental problem of being a junior developer or someone who is new, or even if you're an experienced developer but you haven't really progressed to the point where you want to be, there's nothing that will help you better, help you more than an experienced mentor who takes the time to try to explain things that you are wondering about, to try to get you that aha feeling. Ah, okay, so that's how it works. Now I see. That is the most valuable gift, I argue, anybody who's sitting on any information. It doesn't matter if you're a programmer like me, or if you're an athlete, or if you're a novelist, or a lawyer, or a doctor. It doesn't matter who you are. If you have a a certain level of wisdom in an area because you've been through the journey, you've already done things, and you know a few things about this, then the the best thing, I argue, like the most noble thing you can do is to take the role of a teacher in some fashion. You don't have to know every single little thing about everything. You don't have to be an expert. You just share that knowledge and make it available for people who know less, because you're going to save them so much pain and time and frustration by just giving them a little bit of guidance. They're still going to have to go through the journey just as you, but just as a parent with a kid or a teacher with a student, just you've already gone through all of this. Give them a few guidelines so that they start to understand how things work, so that they can get maybe they will. I mean, they in a perfect world they're going to go even farther than you, because you've already laid the groundwork for them, and by sharing it, they will actually get to your point or catch up to you much quicker because you're trying to help them out. So what I want you to take away from this is that the reason why I make my videos is one part because I do actually want to help people. It's the biggest part. I think that because when I started out, there was nowhere I could find an answer to how do I work as a professional, like what does all these things mean, how do I deal with stakeholders, how do I estimate time, what should I negotiate in terms of salaries, what does my company care about, what is really important, are all these best practices equal, or are there best practices that are sort of pointless, or all of these more complicated questions. And so I decided that now that I have some of that in my portfolio, and I kind of know a few things, I'll start sharing that with everybody. I'll just give it away for absolutely free, and in the process I will become better at teaching. Hopefully I will become more fluent in my speech, and maybe even groom myself a little bit for a more social role, who knows. At the very least, I'm getting better at public speaking and feeling more comfortable. So I mean, this is practice for me as well. So as being the enthusiast that I am when it comes to health and fitness and stuff like that, this is just for me, this is just another exercise. It's just another training routine. And the benefit of this is that if I record it, it makes it less weird, because it would be really weird otherwise. And at the same time, it's giving somebody else something useful. At least I like to think so. Have a great day.